Yeah.
Don, a final question on that topic is, as you have visibility into what's happening within youth soccer, and you're obviously heavily involved with this new elite youth development platform on that player development track, you also have visibility in what's happening in youth soccer, youth sports, maybe more broadly. So for an audience that's listening to both of you that runs youth sports organizations, and there's a question that everyone's asking, which is what can be better about youth sports? What can be better about those experiences? What perspective or advice do you have for them about what concerns you about youth sports, or about what you might encourage them to be focusing on to be more impactful in their organizations?
Well, it's a question that I probably couldn't answer quickly, and I know we're getting short on time, but I'm going to give you a great anecdote. I have a guy that works for me, Jeremy, that you know well. She's a ninth grader, and she's already received 2 college Division I scholarship offers, and she's 15 years old. There's something to me that's very wrong about that. The fact that we have a system that is beginning to professionalize young players at a time in their development where they have a lot that they need to be thinking about. And in my view, that creates a pressure to specialize. And we could have a separate discussion on specialization and the impact that has on our athletes, our society overall, and the whole ecosystem of sports. So I think there are such existential issues that the industry has that leaders need to take some responsibility in trying to change. I sit on the board for US Soccer. I've been on the board for 20 years, which is too long for anybody to be on any board. And I've seen soccer develop at the youth level over the last 2 decades, and I don't see a lot of change over those last 20 years. The issues of pay to play continue to plague soccer overall. I think if you're a youth soccer team leader, I get, respect, and totally understand that, because it's a business and you ought to run it as a business. But I question whether that is providing enough opportunity for all, and lack of opportunity in our sport, as I've been addressing some of the issues that we as a country have been dealing with over the last 2 weeks, and frankly for way longer than that, and speaking to some of our Black players and seeing what it was like for them to have to grow up in an environment where they didn't believe they had the same opportunity as young male white players. So there are so many challenges. That being said, there's such an enormous opportunity to make deep impact. And I think the most influential relationships that young people have outside of their families is the opportunity to engage with a great young coach, to engage with teammates, to have an opportunity to succeed and fail, and to understand what it's like to work together, not just on the field, but very importantly, in both lacrosse and soccer, they're very similar in terms of the numbers of people that play and the incredible commitment that people have to the sport at a young level, and the coaches have to the sport. And it's teaching young people, and it's the opportunity to teach them what they need to be off the field and how they need to be managing their lives, and so many other things that are important to our country and to the world. So I have hope that all of us, particularly with companies like yours and innovative leagues like Paul's, that are thinking about vertically connecting from youth all the way up to the pro game from the get-go, as opposed to in my sport, where we're just figuring out how to do this now. And pro soccer's been around for a long time. And if we're able to collaborate together and be very thoughtful how we engage with parents, with government agencies, with sponsors, with broadcasters, and with the leaders of youth sport coming together, like I'm confident we will with our new program, then I have optimism that we'll be able to build a better mousetrap. And ultimately, kids will benefit by that, but also those youth leaders who've devoted their lives to developing, in my case, soccer players, and trying to build a valuable business, which everybody should have the right and opportunity to do.